2 minutes, Maddie, then.
2 minutes.
Fine, 2 minutes.
Call it. 2 minutes max.
2.5 minutes.
Oh, no.
3 minutes.
Good turnout.
You're live.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Maddie Mitchell, and I'm one of the directors of the Council of Sustainable Leaders. The Council hosts the Sustainability Showcase series to bring awareness to a broad spectrum of sustainability-related issues like gender equality, water access, quality education, and energy, just to name a few. As always, we have meals catered by Paul's Provisions with plenty of vegan and vegetarian options with ingredients that are locally sourced. There's a few leftover meals in the back there, so if you didn't get a chance to get one, feel free to do so now. Everything in your containers are compostable. The fork, spoon, whatever is in there, it's all compostable. So just throw that in the compost bin on your way out. And you may also have noticed the We and Me cards that were on your table. These cards were designed by Will Wise with the intention of connecting people before diving into the content of our presentation. I hope that you were able to chat with some of the people around you. Today we have Erin Kitt-Lewis, who is an assistant teaching professor in the College of Nursing here at Penn State. She will be discussing Take Back Penn State, the program created for responsible disposal of unwanted or expired medications. Let's give a warm welcome to Erin Kitt-Lewis.
Can everybody hear me okay? I may have to adjust this. Is it good? Okay. So as Maddie said, my name is Erin Kitt-Lewis, and I'm out of the College of Nursing. And my program is called Take Back Penn State, and I'll talk to you a little bit about why I named it this way. And before I get started, I just want to thank both Maddie for inviting me to speak here today in the Sustainability Institute. I really appreciate being able to, take time and talk to you about my program. And also, I want to thank the College of Nursing and our interim dean, Janice Penrod. I'm not sure if any of you guys knew her, but she was with the College of Nursing for years and years as a professor of nursing, and then was going to retire and was gracious enough to stay on for another year as our interim dean until we found our new dean, Dean Badzak. And Janice was the one that actually gave me this grant, awarded me this grant to do this program, so I really want to thank her. And the College of Nursing has been very supportive. So why I applied for this grant to do this program, I had some personal goals. So the first thing I'll say is I'm not an expert necessarily in this Take Back program. It was a relatively new idea to me, but some things that I do a lot of speaking, and I'm from the Blair County region, and a lot of the local nursing homes and the VA and some other places had asked me to speak, and one of the big topics, especially with home health nurses, was this idea of polypharmacy, so multiple medications, and what patients should do with these expired or unwanted medications. And so I've been talking about that a lot lately. It's on the nurse's mind and in the community member's mind. And then also we all know about the opioid crisis, not only in Pennsylvania but throughout the country. So that's was another motivating factor of mine. And really, the reason I wanted to do this program was to raise awareness. For instance, I just talked to some nursing faculty, and the one person went to the pharmacy. They gave her the wrong prescription, and so when she went to return it, of course they couldn't take it back. They did refill it for her, but she said, what am I supposed to do with this medication that I wasn't even supposed to get, and you're not going to take back? And they suggested that she dig a 6-inch hole and bury it in her backyard. And this was the pharmacist. So she said, I have a dog. If my dog would dig this up and eat it, that's not how I want to dispose of this medication. And thankfully, she's a nurse and had some common sense and knew not to do that. But so one of my personal goals is to raise awareness on this subject. The other reason I wanted to do this was I teach undergraduate nursing, and I'm really passionate about getting them involved. If you would read some of our students' resumes, you would see they're highly motivated, really smart, capable people that have a varied interests, and they really do like to get involved. So one thing that I think we struggle with in the College of Nursing is getting our undergraduate students involved in research. So not only did I want to pull them in, I wanted to pull some grad students in and kind of mix the two, and also incorporate a research component to this to get the undergraduates interested in some research. and then ultimately make a difference in the Penn State community. So that was sort of my personal goals for writing this grant. So just to give you some background, if you're not familiar, unused and expired medications are a huge concern in our society. So we know that more people are aging, and the technology that we have for drugs is great, and a lot of people are taking more medications. But because of this, we have these accidental exposures to medication. So people are having these medications at home, and children can get into them, or other people, and there's been some fatalities with that. And then also, the other interesting fact is unintentional poisonings has surpassed motor vehicle accidents to become the #1 cause of injuries for children. So that's just some background there. Disposing of these can minimize unnecessary health risks. So 6.4 million Americans abuse controlled prescription drugs. And we all have heard about the opioid crisis, not to mention the other medications that they're abusing. But a majority of these medications that they are abusing are obtained within their own home or from friends and family. So younger people getting into parents, grandparents' medicine cabinets and taking pills that were legally prescribed for somebody else. And then older children and young adults report diverting these prescription medications from their own home and abusing these substances. So I don't know if you guys are familiar. Raise your hand if you're familiar with the term farm parties. Okay, so this is what teenagers, young adults will do. They're supposed to reach in their medicine cabinet or a family member's medicine cabinet and bring a bottle of pills to a party. Everybody dumps the pills into a bowl, and you just pick out the pills and take them. Everybody gets like the roll of the dice, how many you get to pick. And so they're called farm parties, but punch bowl parties, trail mix parties, farming, or recipes, and that's essentially what they do. And this is a pretty common occurrence nowadays. So just when you think teenagers can't think of one more thing to do, they do. And just knowing this is another reason why we do want to get those medications taken off, the unused ones taken out of the cupboard. And it could be something students can, or young people could pick something up as benign as, like, let's say a Tylenol, right? But if you're reaching in and picking out these things or take too many of something, it's not good too. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the prescription or what we think of as illicit drugs. It could be something as simple as your NSAIDs, your Tylenols, your ibuprofens, Benadryls, all of that stuff we still don't want them to take unnecessarily. So disposal of these is not only critical to the health of humans in the sense of we don't want people overdosing or taking medications unnecessarily, but it also, if we don't dispose of them properly, they can leak into our water supply. So, sorry. So just so you know, prescription drugs affect over 40 million Americans. It's in their water supply, which changes the wildlife. And I'm sure you guys, since you're part of the Sustainability Institute, or if you've been coming to these, I think 2 weeks ago we talked about the Delaware watershed. You're familiar with these kind of things. And the Penn State Extension puts out a lot of good articles and has done some research on this. So just in Pennsylvania alone, that's a little chart that I pulled off the Penn State's website. They tested for 7 different things. Most of them are antibiotics or over-the-counter like NSAIDs, things you would take like Tylenol, ibuprofen, naproxen. And in every single water supply they tested, they found at least one. They found more. Some of your antibiotics they found more often, but this was done in northeastern Pennsylvania. So just so you know, it is everywhere and it does affect everything. And although we do filter and chlorinate the water, we know that it doesn't take out the harmful medication qualities, like they found epilepsy drugs, antibiotics, diabetic drugs, antidepressants, hormones, and then also the over-the-counter drugs, medications. So it's affecting our wildlife and affecting the food sources in the water and affecting how they reproduce. Okay, so the last thing, just for the background, sorry. In 2010, the government they passed a law called Secure and Responsible Drug Disposal Act. And from this, we have our National Prescription Take-Back Program. So this program, a lot of different agencies are involved. The FDA, the Department of Justice, and the DEA are all involved in this. And they've really made a good effort in trying to promote this. They have 2 annual take-back days, usually in October and in April. But who here has heard of that in this room? Okay, so, and we're all interested in this sustainability effort. So it's not really widely heard of in the general population. So this is a way, these take-back days, in order to be a take-back center, you have to be law enforcement. So it has to be in either a police station. We do have one on campus. Does everybody know that? So the police services here on campus has a spot. But you can take back any medications and put them in what looks like a mailbox, a metal bin, pull the handle down and insert them, and then they dispose of them properly. So since this program was started, they have collected over 9 million pounds, or almost 10 million pounds of medications. And in April alone this year, it was the 15th take-back day, and this is what they've collected. So they've had, so the participation in law enforcement, the collection sites, and the waste, the weight of the waste collected has gone up every time. But now we have almost 4,600 law enforcement involved. There's more sites every day. And like I said, the total weight just in April was about 900,000 pounds. So the official take-back day in October is the 27th. And again, there'll be one in April. So because this program is new and we're just in the beginning phases, we were going to initially try to center something around October, but it was just too early for us to start. We still have some more information gathering to do, because as I said earlier, I'm not an expert in this. I just wanted to start an initiative to make a difference, and I want to do it in a way that it is sustainable. So hopefully by April, we'll have done a lot of education on campus here. It'll be more widespread, and we can do something big in April. But here's one of the advertisements. I'm going to have Doug play this, that they're advertising for the Take-Back Day here in October.
If you don't dispose of the unused or expired prescription drugs in your home, they might find a new one. They could end up misplaced, stolen, or simply misused. Whatever the case, don't be the dealer. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. To find a collection site, please visit deatakeback.com. DEA Take-Back Day, Saturday, April 28th.
And that's the one that was for this past April.
If you don't dispose of the unused or expired...
That's okay. So that was the one that was for this past April. The same advertisement's playing for this October as well. And they're really trying to get the message out where if you, even if it's something as simple as expired Tylenols or you know, some Benadryl, they want you to bring it in and dispose of it properly, because they will manage that for you. But if you have you know, any opioids, it's anonymous. You don't have to, you can just drop them off yourselves. No one has to know what you're dropping off. And they won't question you at the site either. So if somebody gets a hold of something, maybe from one of their children that was obtained in an illegal way, they don't care about that. They just want them to be disposed of properly. So it's a really safe, non-threatening way to get rid of these medications. Okay, so the main reason why I did this is because of the lack of the awareness that there are. Even some of the home health nurses that I've been talking to over the last year really don't know what to do. So in the past, I've been a nurse for 20 years. And when I first started nursing, I did some home health. And if a person's prescription was changed, let's say their dose was cut in half, we would simply get out our pill splitter, cut them in half, fill the pill bottle that way, or you know, and handwrite the label. Nowadays, if the prescription is changed, you have to dispose of those medications, Could be the exact same medication, receive the new prescription so the label's proper and it doesn't confuse the patient at all. So now we have all these extra unwanted medications that we're needing to get rid of. So that's another reason. But so when you manage patients in a home health setting, you could come into literally a Tupperware bin like this big of medications that they don't know what to do with. And everybody that I've ever gone into a home of for a home health patient has one of those bins, drawers, cupboards. And all the pills are mixed together. They have no idea what they are. They have no idea how long they've been sitting there. They just kind of stockpile them. So raising this awareness of getting these medications out of the home and disposing of them properly is really, really important. And I thought one of the studies, or several of the studies, said we really need to work on educating the public about this. And so that's why I'm trying to do this. So Take Back Penn State, I formed a team. And again, I said one of my goals was to get students involved. Right now I have 4 students, 1 graduate, 3 undergraduate. I was hoping this fall to recruit some sophomores and freshmen. I have not done that yet, but I'm still going to work at them until I get at least 1 from each level. That's my goal. I'd like to have 1 from each level, so if we can sustain this program, you know, we'll have leadership, people that have been experiencing it, and then new people coming on to kind of be mentored by the more seasoned students. And then faculty, have a instructional designer, Abby. She's going to work with me to develop my website. Kat, the librarian, is going to help in any way she can, pulling different articles so we can get you know, the latest and greatest information out to the people. Sergeant Monica Himes has offered to be on this committee as well. And then Crystal Hockenberry, she's part of our green team in the College of Nursing, and she works in our simulation lab and works pretty closely with the students. So again, goal was to expose as many students and employees at Penn State as possible. My target was 500 students and 500 employees. I'm not sure if I'll reach that till April, but that's my goal. We want to deliver evidence-based education. Again, we're just in the beginning phase of doing, pulling that information together, but we want the students and faculty to work together to develop this. So I just don't want it to be the faculty telling the students what to do. I want the students to take an active role in developing this. So what would it take to have other students listen to us speak about this? They would know better than I would. How we can get involved, how we can you know, kind of infiltrate that system. And then we have 3 different areas we want to focus on. One is risk perception of prescription medications, the farm parties, talking and getting the word out about that, and then also the safe medication disposal. And then we're going to try to advertise and promote the program as best we can, and I'd like to get a website up by the new year, so it's available when we start our education. So our Take Back program, we're going to start it by sending out a Qualtrics survey to the campus and see how many participants we get in filling that out. And it'll be just general questions about how much they know about unused or expired medications, what we can do, you know, to sort of help facilitate this on campus. And then we're going to have 2 different formats for education. One is going to be just a 1-page informational, it'll be a digital information sheet that we're going to hopefully email out to everybody. One will be announcing the program, then we're going to talk about the 3 areas I mentioned before: risk of prescription medications, the farm parties, and then lastly, safe medication disposal. And then the other component, and I don't know how this will go, but we would like to do some in-person training. So I envision this however people would like to receive it. So maybe it's coming to the Sustainability Institute and talking about very specific things with education. Maybe it's sending a pre-made package to an RA and having them train their floor on it. Maybe it's one of my undergraduate students going to an event and speaking about this. So it really can be anything that we can design it however a group or an organization would like it. but it would give us some face-to-face time with people as well. So not only sending out something digitally every couple months, but also doing some 15-minute in-person activities with them as well. And even if it's something like if in the fall, when we have our freshman seminar, our first year seminars, maybe getting 15 minutes with some different organizations to get in there and instructors to teach them about this as well. And then finally do a follow-up, same exact survey, but at the end in April, and that's when the last take-back day is, so that was sort of strategic, kind of a finale, really getting the word out to take back your medications. They didn't announce the actual date for the April take-back day yet. I couldn't find it anywhere on the website. And then I'm going to hopefully compare, if we get enough participants, the last Qualtrics survey with the first Qualtrics survey to see if we're actually getting the word out on the Penn State campus. And this, we just targeted University Park for now, although I have some other nursing faculty at other campuses that are interested. To try to keep it contained and manageable for me, we are just focusing on University Park right now. But in the fall, or if this program is sustainable and does work, you know, that we can share our materials with them and they can do something similar at the outlying campuses. Okay, so where I am right now, again, in the beginning phases, I did build my team. I don't have as many students as I would like. I would like to get a freshman and a sophomore involved. And also the College of Nursing at the University Park campus, we also send students to Hershey for 1 year. So I do have a Hershey representative and a UP representative, but I would like to get, like I said, some underclassmen involved, more underclassmen involved. I'm applying to the IRB right now, and I started to gather some educational materials myself and have mentioned it to a couple students, and they're looking up some stuff. But again, we're just in the beginning phases, and this is not my area of expertise, so it's not like I've been researching or doing this for a long time. This is new to me too, and I'm just doing this because I saw a need for it in the community. And then I started to hash out some ideas that I've had for our website, and then I'm going to be working more closely with our instructional designer. Hopefully that'll be up before the spring semester, because that's when our education is going to start. So I'd like, once we get out and are able to talk to students and faculty, that they're able to access the website. You know, if they're interested or want more information, it'll be available to them. And then finally, my other goal is to try to find a way to make this a sustainable effort, because although we got some money to like create the website and get some promotional things, so I think I budgeted in my proposal that I will give some random gift cards out. If you complete the surveys, you'll be in a drawing for a $25 gift card, and some other promotional things like water bottles and things like that to kind of spark interest, and also put the Take Back Penn State logo on it so it's out there and people are seeing it. And but once the money's up and we don't have these promotional things, how can we sustain this? And it's really going to take the efforts of getting students involved and getting them passionate about it within the College of Nursing, and seeing that as a responsibility of being a nurse in the future and managing all these unnecessary, unused medications. So that is my goal there. And that is all I have. Does anybody have any questions? And we'll wait till Maddie brings the mic to you before you ask them.
I wonder if you have anything going on downtown with the downtown student population and apartment buildings, and whether you can direct some advertising with the different apartment managers to promote this project. Huge apartment complexes like the one that you see off East College Avenue, and the Retreat, and the ones out off Blue Course Drive. These places are enormous and need to be aware of where they can go for this, and how important it is that they do it. And then also, I think the timing of this is bad for the Penn State campus, because the time to really rid yourself of everything is when you're leaving for the semester and at the time that you're going. So doing this then, having a push for it would make a lot of sense to me.
So they're great questions. So to start out, to make it a little more manageable, I was really focused on student life on campus. But as we expand, I definitely understand that there's a market beyond campus. Again, starting out on the project, I didn't want to be overwhelmed by doing too much too quick, but that's something I plan to do in the future. The more we get our name built up, our campus is not the only place that has a drop-off. Both townships in the area do. But the other thing is, it's not just for students, it's for faculty as well. And so any information I can get out, because not every faculty member or staff member lives close to campus, so we might find out that we need to get more information out about the surrounding areas as well and where people can go. Yeah, they can bring it to campus, but there might be an easier drop off somewhere closer to their home, so we need to see what our range covers. But I can't do that all this spring. But in the future, I would like to. I would like to look at off-campus housing and the surrounding communities for the staff and faculty to be able to take it to their closest law enforcement place that has a drop-off. Yeah, so that's for the future. Did I answer that question? Okay, yep. Oh, wait till Maddie gets to you for the recording purposes.
So do I understand correctly that for the October campaign, that they are going to have additional drop-off locations?
No. So the one on campus is located in
Police. In
the police service, and you can drop that off at any time. So if I just actually went through my cabinet. I don't have a lot of medications in my cabinet, but I did have some expired Tylenol, so I have them ready to take back the next time I remember to bring them to campus. So you can drop them off any time. Now that you know about it, you can bring them back. But the big day that they're going to promote is October 27th. But no, anytime you can bring them back is fine.
Okay.
Since I have a question. So you mentioned non-prescription things, like Tylenol and so on. What about nutritional supplements, vitamins, and so on?
So there's no questions on what you drop off. You can put it in, an envelope and put whatever in you want. So it could be anything, essentially. Medications, supplements, illicit drugs. They're not going to question you on what you put in there, and then they'll find a way to dispose of them.
So where do the drugs go after you drop them off?
So that's a great question. So depending on what they are, they separate them and figure it out, and then they dispose of them properly. There's a couple different techniques they use. So one of the things they can do is dilute them in water, mix them with kitty litter, and dispose of them that way. So it's absorbed in the kitty litter, not into the ground. But there's other things they do. That's just not the only thing that they do. But they take care of it. The DEA is the one that actually they dispose of them properly, not the local police.
This may be a question for the internet. Do you know how the expiration dates for medications are determined?
I don't. It probably has to do something with the compounds that are in it, how long, and what preservatives are in that particular medication on how long they last. But I honestly don't know how they formulate that.
Okay, the only reason I ask is, from what I understand, a lot of food expiration labels are just kind of made up arbitrarily. So with regards to the old NSAIDs or anything else, it might, I don't know if it's
I don't know how
worthwhile.
arbitrary they are, but
Yeah.
you're asking if you should take a chance on letting, like a month-old, I would not take the chance, but I don't really know how they calculate that. If it says October of 18, November 1st, I would throw it away. That's just me, because they have, some of them are 2 years or longer, and if you bought it 2 years ago and it's been sitting on your shelf opened for 2 years, I would probably get rid of it anyway, just because of that. Any other questions?
Is there any other way to dispose of them other than the drop-off locations?
You mean in your home?
Yeah.
There are ways. For instance, kitty litter is what we suggest to family members if they're going to get rid of them. So we tell them to dilute them in water and get kitty litter and dump that solution onto the kitty litter and then put it in a plastic bag and seal that plastic bag. So again, not ideal, but that's what we do tell people. And then put it in the regular trash bag. So I work hospice a lot, so we have a lot of really strong narcotics. And that's the company that I work for, that's our policy, because we're going into someone's home and we actually have to count with the family what narcotics we're getting rid of and document in the tablet. And we're not allowed to take them. So nurses can't transport them to a drop-off center. We have to actually see, the family has to see us witness the disposal of them. So when we do that, that's what we do. We mix them in kitty litter, seal them in a bag, and then throw them in the trash. Any other questions? So if anybody's interested in this, I can give you my email. It's EAK114. And if you want to be part of the team, it doesn't matter if you're a student, faculty member, just a community member, you know, the more people we have to help spread the word, you might have a venue that we can get in that we couldn't, you know, otherwise get into. We're happy to have as much participation as we can. Don't even have to be affiliated with college of nursing. Any college on campus would be great. But like, start watching for things come spring of 19. And maybe next year, if it's possible, we might be able to come back and you know, show our progress that we've made on this. And hopefully have students speaking instead of me.
Any other last questions that are lingering? Okay, awesome. But yeah, I really enjoyed this talk, and I really respect everything that you've shared, because I think it really is something that people don't really talk about that much. We don't really think about the consequences of maybe flushing the pills down the toilet. It really affects the water, and potentially that goes into our drinking water and could further affect us more. So definitely a great point that you mentioned. And I really just thank you for coming.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hey, can I say one other thing? So along with this opioid crisis, we see, I mean, who doesn't know somebody that's either affected by this, a family member, a friend, someone in their community, maybe if it's not like a direct relation, but tangentially, or you know someone that's affected. And that stigma of maybe being a parent of a child that's using illegal drugs. What's nice about this is there's no stigma. You can just confiscate the medication, put it in a brown paper bag, and bring it to campus, drop it off. No one has to know. So it's a really safe way. And even if people don't want to be completely transparent about what's going on, they can get those medications out of their home and maybe away from another child or, the rest of the family.
That's a really great point.
Yeah.
So if you would just join me in applauding Erin Kitt-Lewis for coming. Next week, our schedule of speaker is Alan Robach, but unfortunately, he just recently canceled due to travel issues. So you can join us in 2 weeks for Jonathan Brockup to talk about